Chilly indeed this time of year, as you would expect. The calendar turning to December here in the Twin Cities, but on the inside, football weather doesn't get much better than this. 69 degrees and a sellout crowd on hand. Vikings have won the toss, selected to receive. Remember, in their first meeting between these two teams, Cordero Patterson returned the opening kickoff 105 yards for a touchdown back in week 2. So they're not going to take a chance. They're going to punch one right at the 20-yard line, and returned up to the 28-yard line by Matt Asiata. The quarterback position in Minnesota has been a carousel indeed. Christian Ponder, the first 3 games, injured his ribs. They went twice with Matt Castle. After they had signed Josh Freeman, he started 1 game against the Giants and has never been heard from since. Ponder making now his 5th consecutive start.
And as Laura Oakman said, this is a more relaxed Christian Ponder. He's been given a reprieve by the governor. Hey, I was out of here. This is the second chance. I'm going to relax and let it fly.
Easy. 6-5-7. Express. Bounce hot.
And naturally, we're thinking about running the ball. They come out throwing the ball. And they find the tight end, Sean Carlson, who grew up in nearby Litchfield, Minnesota. Some of the key players today, coach, for the Vikings.
They love to run left behind Matt Khalil and Charles Johnson. Jerome Felton did not play the first time these two teams faced one another. And Cordero Patterson, we've talked about special teams. He had a career-high 8 receptions as a receiver last week against the Green Bay Packers.
Well, John Carlson there, he'll get the bulk of the work at tight end. Kyle Rudolph still out with a broken foot. Adrian Peterson, his first carry, and very close to a first down, depending on the spot. Needed to get to the 38-yard line.
Well, the Bears defense is banged up. They need to have Stephen Pye on the inside with Jonathan Bostic, but watch for the safeties. Craig Stelz and Chris Conti. They're going to be down in the box all day long trying to stop the run of Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, they got another bad break injury-wise on defense when yesterday, day before yesterday, now Major Wright re-injured, tweaking the hamstring. So Stelz, a one-time starter for Chicago, in at safety. And falling down was Jerome Simpson. 2nd down and 10 after the first down run by Adrian Peterson.
Well, this defense, you can see Henry Milton, Lance Briggs, DJ Williams at the linebacker position, and Chris Tillman, a turnover machine. These guys are no longer there. You got to go with Corey Wooten on the inside, Kasim Green, James Anderson at the linebacker position, and Zach Bowman at corner. That's a lot to replace on a prideful defense.
Well, Charles Tillman, he is a turnover machine again this year. Hoping somehow, some way they can get him back. Peterson slips 1 tackle but picks up only 3. Stopped there by Stelz, and it brings up 3rd down and 7 for Minnesota on this opening drive of the game.
Well, the Minnesota Vikings on 1st and 2nd down. No team in the league gets into the eye and runs downhill more. Maybe Tampa Bay. We saw them last week. But on 3rd down, this is where Christian Ponder has to make his money. He impacted the first game more with his legs than his arm on 3rd down. Defensive coordinator Mel Tucker is very conscious of that. They want to keep him in the pocket.
Showing blitz, and here they come. And Ponder is sacked all the way back at the 29-yard line, and that's Julius Peppers. Picks up his team-leading 5th sack of the year.
You're going to watch Peppers come all the way from the right side. Watch how he loops all the way to the inside. That's about a $3 cab ride to get there. Because they brought pressure on the outside, Ponder had to hold on to the ball and allow Peppers to get home.
Of course, we thought Devin Hester had broken the all-time record for returns in the history of the NFL. Returned one last week. It was called back on a penalty. Stumbles around, and he is dropped. Penalty flag comes in all the way back to the 20-yard line. Great coverage by backup linebacker Larry Dean after Hester initially couldn't find his footing.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 95 return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So they're going to back him up even further. Peppers with a big sack to stop Minnesota's opening drive. Chicago gets a football for the first time today. They're still without their starting quarterback, Jay Cutler, missing his 3rd straight game, his 4th overall. Initially injured his groin against Washington, missed a game, came back against the Lions, re-aggravated the groin injury, also turned an ankle. And his replacement, Josh McCown, has done a rock-solid job. Yeah, they've won 2 games with McCown, and he's got 7 touchdowns to 1 interception, so he's managed the offense very well. They'll start with a running game into the hands of Matt Forte, and off the right side, that'll be a gain of 3 on first down. McCown has played in 5 games, today his 6th, and his 4th as a starter. And those are the numbers. 77% last week against St. Louis. Set a Bears record with 36 completions in that game, but he took a physical beating. As did the whole team. Like we said, the St. Louis Rams ran roughshod over this defense. It was a long day for the Chicago Bears last week. Alshon Jeffrey, second-year wide receiver out of South Carolina, having an excellent year. Appears to be maybe 2 yards shy of a first down. Well, you got to look at that rookie right side on the offensive line of Long and Mills. Matt Forte, of course, a big part of the offense, and Brandon Marshall on pace to have yet another 100-reception year. Set a Bears record last year. His first season was Chicago. 118 catches for over 1,500 yards. What a pickup he has been. Low snap, McCown handles it and nearly intercepted by Adi Cole. Boy, went right through his hands. Cole, a big story last week in his first career start, a guy who was released 2 weeks earlier. And he came up with 18 tackles, 2 of them for a loss, including a sack. Well, he should have had a pick 6 there, but what a great story. You get cut 1 week, and then you got to come back and start. Just that whole mentality. He's played very well since he's been put into the lineup. Adam Podlesh on to punt it for Chicago. Marcus Sherrill standing back at his own 30. Will field it at the 25. Good return by Sherrill. Across the 35 up to the 38. Vikings are hoping to crank up Adrian Peterson on their second possession when we return. Look at this, making his first appearance in over a year and a half in the NFL. He's going by Jeremiah Ratliff. Most of you and most of us know him as just simply Jay Ratliff. 4-time Pro Bowler during his days with the Dallas Cowboys. Ponder forever to throw, and throws deep down the field in a double coverage, incomplete with an eye on Simpson. They remember Ratliff tore up his groin midway through last year. Well, Ratliff is, you know, that inside presence with the loss of Milton and Collins is huge. And to have him back in the lineup is just huge. Well, they signed Ratliff, you may remember, after Dallas let him go. They signed him on the 8th of November. Last year, got cleared to practice. That was a devastating groin injury he had. In fact, it required surgery. And Ratliff, for so many years with Dallas, among the very best at his position in all of football. Peterson, wrapped up by Stelz. That's a couple of real nice plays in this one so far by Craig Stelz. 3rd and long coming up for Minnesota. We send it to LA for the first time and check in with Kurt Menefee.
Arizona's Carson Palmer fumbled on the opening possession. Philadelphia 4 plays later. Nick Foles to Zach Ertz, 7-0. And Palmer just threw another pick. And so the Eagles have the ball again, looking for more in first quarter. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
It's a big game there, Brian. Big game both in the division for Philadelphia and in that final wild card chase in the NFC. Sacked for the second time today is Christian Ponder. And Stephen Paya, the first one there, had help from Isaiah Fry. Yeah, he's over here on the defensive right side, and they're doing a lot of twisting and turning, are the Chicago Bears. There he just kind of splits the double team as Peppers comes along to the inside.
We told you that Christian Ponder needed to affect this team on third down. They were very conscious of keeping him in the pocket. So far, they've done just that.
Pius sprained his toe going all the way back to week 5. Came back for one game after missing a game. And then was inactive last week. But in there today along with Rattler. And Hester is dropped right at the 21-yard line. 55-yard punt, 7-yard return. Those are the ruins of several flour mills that were abandoned back from the late 1800s over on the west side of St. Anthony Falls along the Mississippi River. And we welcome you back inside Mall of America Field. Second possession for Chicago. Bears went 3 and out their first possession. And McCown on the slant connects with Brandon Marshall, and that's a gain of close to 10 on first down. Minnesota defense ranked 30th overall, 25th against the run, 29th against the pass.
Built inside out. Kevin Williams, the nose tackle. Audie Cole, we've already talked about. And like Chicago, the Minnesota Vikings are going to have to bring Sanford and Sendejo down into the box to stop the run.
See that points per game allowed. That's the most among all teams in the NFL. Giving up better than 31 points per game on once was the real hallmark of this Vikings franchise, a stout defense. First down, they fake it one way, fake it to Jeffrey. And McCown just throws it up and out of bounds. Incomplete, second down and 10. Well, on Saturday, it'll be the Big Ten championship game on Fox. And the Ohio State Buckeyes, who figure to move up to number 2 by then, will take on the number 11 Michigan State. National championship implications in that Saturday, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central on Fox. What an unbelievable day in college football yesterday.
On rivalry Saturday. Couldn't have been better.
Ohio State, Michigan, a thriller. And then what an unbelievable finish to that Auburn win over number 1 Alabama. The delay to Forte did not fool Minnesota. Robert Plant there as well as Cole. Of course, Mark Trestman grew up right here outside of Minneapolis. Went to St. Louis Park High School. Just recently inducted into their Hall of Fame. His first coaching job under Bud Grant, going all the way back to the 1980s. Leslie Frazier took over as Vikings head coach the final 6 games of 2010. Went to the playoffs last year. This year has been a rough season. Third down, McCown throws and it's incomplete. Even if Martellus Bennett caught it, it was not enough. Sluggish start offensively today.
And what did we say? They're going to see so much pressure on the inside with the safeties on an 8-man box on first and second down. Pressure by linebackers on that third down. They're going to make these quarterbacks beat them on the outside throwing the ball.
Podlesh on for the second time, and Sherrills waits back at his 20. Over end punt. Sherrills with some room. Breaks it to the outside, back to the inside, and a good return by Sherrills. Minnesota will start this possession after a 16-yard return at the 43, but we wait on a penalty flag all the way back to the line of scrimmage.
During the kick, holding, number 54 receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Gerald Hodges. First 2 possessions for Minnesota. Ended quickly.
125. 125.
After that penalty, they back him up considerably as it's Peterson off to the left side. Stelz forced him back inside, and it turns into a gain of 6. 5 plays in a punt. 3 plays in a punt so far today from Minnesota.
And that's the dilemma that they have, in that if they can't get production running the ball between the tackles, then it's going to definitely push to the quarterback on third down, and that's not the game they want to play.
Hey, doctor, LA. Hey, LA, march one man down. Woody, push on.
Taken to Peterson, throwing to Simpson, and he did not hang on. Boy, that looked like a play that should have been made by Jerome Simpson. Or are they saying
like
he
they're
caught
giving
it?
it to him? He reached out with his hands, looked like he pulled it in. Just a simple slant route. Nice job with the hands. Typically that will come out as it goes to the ground. Oh boy, we'll have to get a different look, but it looked like it came out as it was going to the ground.
Yeah, we could see that from up here, and of course we were blocked out after that ball initially came out of his hands. But Mark Trestman is going to challenge a call, and so far so good for Trestman. 2 out of 3 on replay challenges this year.
Chicago is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. We'll review the play.
Now there's no question the ball comes out there.
Ruling on the field, it's a catch. Mark Trestman
After
challenges
review,
a call.
The receiver did not have control of the pass. It is an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd and 4 at the 20-yard line. Chicago is not charged with a timeout. Please set the game clock to 7 minutes.
And that's a substantial challenge. Some people say, well, do you really want to waste a challenge on a play like that? Well, you're darn right. That gave them a first down, and the way the Vikings have been on third down, they're 0 for 2 today. That's a big challenge, because if you can stop them here, you have to get decent field position.
Remember now, the first 2 Vikings series came to an end on sacks. One by Peppers, one by Paya and Fry, and a third comes to an end on a sack, and Peppers for the second time, the first man there.
Last time we saw Peppers on the outside, loop all the way to the inside. Now you're going to see him inside as a defensive tackle. They didn't even waste time on the loop. They just put him one-on-one on the left side with Johnson, and that's Peppers all the way.
Here the fans already booing here in Minnesota. Brian, you coached here for a number of years, and of course they got used to some good football here for a number of years, including last year.
I love this stadium because it's a very intimate stadium. The fans are right there. That's a bad thing when things aren't going well, because the fans are right there.
Booming punt by Jeff Lott, and Hester a fair catch at the 33. 3 sacks already for this Chicago defense.
Showed pressure on the outside with Stelz, and then Peppers gets home on the inside. The inside pressure is killing him. Again, looping around on the inside with Paya and Fry being attributed to that sack, and then Julius Peppers just overpowered Charlie Johnson for the sack there.
Peppers only 4 sacks all season long. He has 2 already in a game here today, and that has not been a strong suit of this Chicago defense. Only 19 sacks through the first 11 games. A count on first down. What a catch made by Alshon Jeffrey. That was not a well-thrown ball.
Yeah, this is a heck of a catch by Jeffrey. One that last year he wouldn't have made. He threw it in behind it because of the presence of the linebacker. That looks more like Brandon Marshall making a catch like that. Alshon Jeffrey has been a huge addition for him this year.
Put it right back in his hands, and that's a first down to the 46-yard line. This duo has been something else. In fact, more yards, receiving yards, than any duo in the NFL of Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall.
Last year, part of the problem with Chicago Bears is that Brandon Marshall accounted for better than 50% of their receiving yards. He's down to 30% because of Alshon Jeffrey and Martellus Bennett.
See, they're the only pair in the NFL where each of the 2 receivers has over 800 receiving yards. A delay to Forte with running room. Down to the 30-yard line for Matt Forte. Jermon Bushrod leading the way.
And this is the difference in the running attack, where Minnesota wants to get in the eye, get downhill between the tackles. Chicago will be more apt to spread it out. Matt Forte, an excellent draw and trap runner. They want to spread it out, don't have a fullback in front of him too much, because he likes to have all the vision with no one in front of him, and they'll spread it out.
It seems like every week whenever Minnesota is playing that Adrian Peterson gets all the top billing, and you can understand why, the kind of career he's having and the kind of year he's having. But I tell you what, Peterson has about 150 more rushing yards this year than Forte. Forte still has the 6th most rushing yards in the NFL, but Forte is closing in on 60 receptions out of the backfield.
And that's the key, the multi-dimensional player, particularly on screens. We haven't seen one yet, but he's very good at it. That's been his forte, I say with a tongue-in-cheek, because he's very good in and out of the backfield.
And you saw he's now moved into 2nd all-time with the ability to run it and catch it in yards from scrimmage. Intercepted right into the hands of Chad Greenway. Wasn't touched. Back on his feet. There is a penalty flag down at the line of scrimmage. Question is this going to be against Minnesota?
Yeah, it is, because I think you're going to see Robert Blanton on the outside.
Offside. Number 36, defense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Robert Blanton was trying to time up his pressure from the outside. We're seeing a lot of pressures here. You're going to see him run right here on the outside. He's going to step up, try to time it, trying to bluff. No, just took one too many steps across the line of scrimmage. That's a tough break for Minnesota. That would have been nice to have the turnover.
I got to ask you though, Brian, because you were such a great offensive coordinator right here in Minnesota. That's the 2nd time already where McCown has not seen that linebacker slip into coverage. One time it should have been an interception. That time it was, but called back.
Minnesota throwing a lot of different looks at the backup quarterback, McCown.
Brandon Marshall, that'll be good enough for a 1st down to the 19-yard line. But what I'm getting at is I think a lot of fans watch a game. We sit and watch a game, and you wonder, how does the quarterback not see that?
Well, I think he thought he could get it over the top of Cole. He had, I'm not quite sure who it was in behind him, but the ball was a little flat. I don't know whether, hey, I got a freebie here. Quarterbacks are aware when those flags come out. Would have had a nice gain down the field. I think he just misjudged the height of the ball.
This ought to be interesting because the Bears have had a terrible time inside the red zone here of late, including last week. And Minnesota defensively has been abysmal in red zone defense. So the Bears penning a timeout, and we will send it to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles. Hi, Kurt.
Hello, Tom. Carolina trying to win 8 in a row. That's Cam Newton hooking up with Brandon LaFell wide open, 16-yard score. And that was only 2 plays after Cam had run it 56 yards. Multi-dimensional, they lead at 7-3 over the Bucs. Tom, Brandon, Laura.
Panthers nearly had stubbing their toe last week, able to pull it out at the end of the game and coming away with a win after big emotional wins. We were in San Francisco, and of course that win over New England. Only 1 game behind New Orleans, and of course we know the Saints play in Seattle.
You got New Orleans twice coming up. Those are going to be great games.
So after the timeout, 1st down and 10 for Chicago in this scoreless game. Nearing the 3-minute mark here in the opening quarter. No chance to get that one to Marshall with great coverage by Xavier Rhodes, a rookie out of Florida State.
Matched up one-on-one. Rhodes, 1st-round draft choice, has really played well of late. This is all about timing. You know where the ball is going to go. When do I turn? When do I time up my jump? He did it perfectly there.
He felt like he was coming off his best game in his rookie year last week. Career high 4 passes defensed, although he did suffer a concussion against Green Bay. Seventh play of the drive, and they hand it to Forte. That'll be a gain of almost 4, which brings up an important 3rd down. You saw those overall numbers for Chicago in the red zone. That's in the season. But recently is where they have struggled. Their last 3 games in the red zone, games now, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, an interception. They turned it over on downs twice, and they couldn't convert a 2-point conversion where they could have tied the game.
Things get compressed down in the red zone. Your quarterback has to make tighter throws, plus you have to run the ball well.
0 for 2 on third down today. And Bennett able to stay on his feet. He'll get enough for a first down, and there is a flag in the secondary. 2 of them, and now a third. Saw Greenway motioning to perhaps Bennett pushed off to get so wide open.
Well, it was a late flag, so I'm going to be interested to see what this is about. The second flag may very well be a personal foul. The first flag. They're having to sort something out here.
Well,
There
trying
are
to
2
figure
fouls
out.
by the offense on the play. Unnecessary roughness. Number 15 after the end of the play. That penalty is declined. Offensive pass interference, number 83. That penalty is accepted. 10 yards. Repeat third down.
So they did indeed get Martellus Bennett. The Bears have been penalized 23 times in their last 2 games, after being penalized only 40 times in their first 9 games.
And you talk about difficulty in the red zone. You can't get a first down inside the 10-yard line and then come back outside of the 20 because of penalty. Penalties hurt you, but like sacks, when and where, that's a costly one.
So now third down and 8 becomes third down and 18. From the 27-yard line. Earl Bennett left wide open. And the reception to the 12, about 3 yards short of a first down. Does Mark Trestman think about going for it? Nope. He will send out Robbie Gould, his outstanding field goal kicker.
And that was a near costly error from Minnesota. Blown coverage, trying to show pressure inside, left Bennett uncovered. Very fortunate he didn't get the first down.
If Robbie Gould has 3 successful kicks without a miss today, he will tie Mike Vanderjagt as the most accurate field goal kicker in the history of the NFL. And think about where he's been doing.
Absolutely.
30 yards out. It is good. I think the argument can be made that Robbie Gould might be the best kicker in the history of the NFL. Some folks may laugh. Check the numbers. 3-0 Chicago. 3-0 Chicago with a little more than a minute remaining in the opening quarter. I remember when the Bears kicked off to begin the game, Gould just had that little pop fly, if you will, down about the 20-yard lines, trying to stay away from that man, Cordero Patterson.
Yeah, and that's a solid strategy until they bring it out to the 35, 40-yard line. Then you question it, but you know kicking it to Patterson, that's a dangerous proposition.
Now they put it on the ground. And that is Ellison who brings it up to the 33-yard line. Scored his first career touchdown in that game against Green Bay last week.
They've modeled up Adrian Peterson. That's just the way we said they would. They're putting a lot of people on the line of scrimmage. You can see Craig Stelz coming in to make a play. A lot of bodies because a standard spacing front is not going to stop Adrian Peterson. So far, Christian Ponder hasn't had a chance to make them pay down the field for these heavy boxes.
6 times in his career, Peterson has rushed for better than 100 yards against Chicago, including a first meeting back in week 2 this year. And big yardage for Adrian Peterson across midfield, run out of bounds at the Chicago 44-yard line.
They got a lot of people here, and that's great to put a lot of people in the box. And you're going to see right here, Stelz, the safety comes down. Everybody's down here. The problem is, if you let Adrian Peterson get behind those 8 and 9 people, there's not a whole lot in front of them. They're lucky this didn't turn into a bigger play. Looks like maybe a little bit of hold there by Carlson. They're lucky to minimize this as Conte gets him out of bounds. 8 and 9 people on the line of scrimmage is fine, as long as you can not let him get behind you.
Brandon Fusco, the guard, will open the way. They pitch it to Cordero Patterson. And that did not fool anybody. That is a loss of 7 on first down.
They keep finding ways to try to get the ball into Cordero Patterson's hands. They need to get it more down the field. Did a nice job last week, but primarily it's the quick screens, one-step screens on the outside. Bill Musgrave, the offensive coordinator, giving him reverses like that. They want to give him involved, but they got to get it down the field.
That's his third carry of the year, and it's gone for -5 yards. End of the opening quarter. 3-0 Chicago. Well, Brian Billick, if you looked at these numbers, you'd think it would be a big lead for Chicago. It's only 3-0 as we begin the second quarter. Call it a loss of 6, so second down and 16. And Peppers immediately is off to a great start today, already with a pair of sacks. Wraps up Adrian Peterson after maybe a 2-yard gain.
Chicago is bringing safeties, corner. They brought Isaiah Fry off the edge on that one. They're bringing down extra people virtually on every single snap. At some point, Christian Ponder's going to have to hit on a down the field throw. It's not going to be here because they're going to go passive on 3rd and a ton. They're going to have to make more yardage on 1st and 2nd down.
Ponder steps up and throws in a double coverage with an eye once more on Simpson. Good coverage by Bowman. Had help over the top from Conti, and Bowman is injured. And remember, the Bears are already missing their starter Charles Tillman. Bowman is starting for him. They're also without safeties Major Wright and Anthony Walters here today. We'll take a timeout as they check on Zachary Bowman. Over in Bloomington, Minnesota, suburb of the Twin Cities, the Mall of America. They call it the Mega. 20,000 parking spaces.
It's the only way my wife could get me shopping when we were here.
What, you put you on the roller coaster?
Exactly. Let me go for that couple hours.
Castro let it bounce. And great coverage by Minnesota to down it at the 10-yard line. They're still taking a look at Bowman, who clearly was shaken up.
Well, you're going to see Chris Conti coming across. Boy, the head snaps back. Then it gets jolted again there. And then as he falls back on the turf, fortunately, he got up and walked off the field.
So the Bears get the football, leading 3-0, just underway here in the second quarter. Great to have you with us. Hoping you and yours had a happy, healthy, wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. Forte straight up the middle. That'll give him a little bit of breathing room, very close to a first down.
And Minnesota's trying to play a bit of a guessing game. As he comes into it, they kept the safeties high, gambling that maybe Chicago might throw the ball on first down. Instead, they ran the ball, and they guessed wrong. They're not holding up when they have a standard space in front. They need the help of the safeties. You can see them here up high. They need to get down into the body of the defense to stop this running game.
Forte back-to-back carries after the 12-yard run on first down. And good pickup here as he's wrapped up by Greenway. 5 years in a row has been the leading tackler for Minnesota. For whatever reason, Forte has been at his best away from Soldier Field.
Well, he's like Adrian Peterson. He likes this turf. He's going to be very good here in the dome as well, because he's got both in and out of the backfield. He's got great footing here.
Second down and 3 straight carries for Matt Forte, and that one again good enough for a first down up to the 34-yard line.
Look at here now. This is what we're talking about. You've got to get them involved with a whole bunch of people, and he's out here on the edge as well. It's the only way to stop the running game for both these defenses. And when they don't do that and are betting pass and get into those loose secondary looks, then the offenses are just gouging them.
8 carries, 44 yards for Matt Forte, who's never had a 100-yard rushing day against the Minnesota Vikings in his outstanding career. Blitz coming, they pick it up, and Marshall a first down catch up to midfield.
Well, you bring pressure, that's all well and good, but you avoid that area right in front of the quarterback when you do that. You're going to see Marshall right here kind of rub off Martellus Bennett. Comes underneath, the pressure by the backers inside, open it up, easy pitch and catch. Made it awful tough on Xavier Rhodes to catch up with Brandon Marshall.
What a great job by Forte. Whether you're handing him the ball, throwing him the ball, that time he picked up cold on the blitz. Forte is one outstanding player. No room this time. Wrapped up immediately by the rookie Sharif Floyd. One of the 3 first-round picks Minnesota had in this year's draft.
And all 3 of those rookies, Sharif Floyd, Xavier Rhodes, we've already talked about, and Cordero Patterson, last week had more of an impact. Haven't seen him much today. But all 3, I mean, you have 3 first-round picks. You expect a certain amount of productivity. They're beginning to see that return on their investment.
Was they were able to get those 3 first-round picks because of the trade to Percy Harvin. That was part of it when they sent him to Seattle. Second down. And Bennett, short gain, maybe 3. Will bring up 3rd and long for the Bears, leading 3-0, just under 11 minutes to play until halftime.
And we've got to give the Bears and Mark Trestman some credit for maintaining an offensive level of productivity with their quarterback down. We see across the league, your quarterback goes down. It's not a good proposition, but McCown's done a good job. Like I said, touchdown to interception ratio, fairly efficient. You got to credit the coaching staff to a degree for implementing an offensive scheme that works with this backup quarterback.
3rd down and 8. Blitz coming. Forte picks it up and looking for Bennett. It's overthrown.
Nice job by Rhodes again. They're putting him all over the place with whoever wants to go deep. He does a nice job playing bump all the way down the field on Bennett. When Rhodes came in, he came out of Florida State, was thought as the bigger corner, maybe more of a 2-deep corner, which fits the Minnesota Vikings scheme because of the amount of 8-man box they've got to play. They're asking a lot of man coverage from him. So far, he's answered the call.
Bartlett's trying to pin him inside the 20, or better than that. And at the 10, it's Sherrill. Well, Brian, during your years here, I know you remember the St. Paul Curling Club. The rock, the brooms, delivering the rock. It's got you written all over.
I was too busy ice fishing.
Needless to say, not an impressive start offensively for Minnesota, but the Vikings only down 3-0. 10 minutes to go here in the opening half, and Ponder lofts it down the middle, and Simpson this time hangs on. All the way up to the 43-yard line. In traffic, Simpson went up to get it.
Chris Conte was all over this and just couldn't get in front of Simpson. The long arms, nice job reaching up for the ball, not letting it come down to your body, or that thing would have been knocked down or intercepted. Boy, it doesn't look like he even looks. It's like I'm going to reach up there and, oh, look, I've got it. Okay, I'll take it.
It's a 32-yard gain. The Vikings had a total of 13 total yards offensively before that catch.
Chicago comes right back and puts everybody on the line of scrimmage.
And yet Peterson finds a way to sneak through, and Pepper's able to throw him out of bounds after a gain of almost 6.
And Mel Tucker, the defensive coordinator, talked about this. It's all well and good to bring that many guys up the line of scrimmage, but right now, and he mentioned last week, obviously against St. Louis, they didn't fit up real well. When you bring that many people in, everybody has responsibility, everybody has a gap, and if you look over and a buddy's in your gap, that's not a good thing. And you can see Mel Tucker right there, none too happy about it.
Peterson cuts it back to the inside, now along the sideline, run out of bounds by Stelz in the 35-yard line.
Nice job. You can see the DBs up on the edge. Excellent job by Matt Khalil and Charlie Johnson getting out. You don't like those matchups. Big bodies on those small DBs. Opening up Adrian Peterson on the outside.
All the way way down to the 35-yard line after that 18-yard carry by Peterson. First time we've seen Toby Gerhart today. Gerhart had an excellent game last week. Ran for 91 yards. And while we have a moment, let's check in with Kurt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
Arizona and Philly. How's this for a 3rd and 20 call? You got Larry Fitzgerald on the other end. It works out okay sometimes. 43 yards on the score. Time the game at 7 with the Eagles. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
Anything with Larry Fitzgerald that ends with the name Larry Fitzgerald, that's a good thing.
We've got Cordero Patterson in the backfield. And he's still on his feet inside the 20, and he will race to the end zone. 33-yard touchdown run for Cordero Patterson. The first rushing touchdown of this wide receiver's career.
Obviously hearing the eye in the backfield, and we talked about they want to get the ball in the hands of this explosive playmaker. Nice job by Jerome Felton, the fullback, leading up to the outside, letting the explosive Patterson get into the end zone.
So the Vikings go 90 yards on the drive, capped off by this touchdown from Patterson to take a 7-3 lead. Minnesota takes its first lead of the game, going 90 plays, took them only 90 yards, took them only 5 plays, and 4 of the 5 plays rushing plays. Lester will take a knee in the end zone. Take a look at Jeff Lambert, the official, after this touchdown run from Patterson.
Well, this guy's excited about getting the touchdown out of the backfield, and once he gets there, he's looking for some love for somebody. His teammates can't catch up with him, so he's going, hey, how about you? Come on, come on, come on, give me just a little bit. Okay, man, I'm there. He did it begrudgingly, but he gave it 5.
That's good stuff.
That's
right?
great stuff. That's great stuff.
Now, you wouldn't be mad if you were the other coach of the other team, would you?
No, no.
All right.
I'd be mad at his teammates going, hey, yo, catch up with that guy. Give him something to celebrate with.
McCown and the Bears need an answer, trailing 7-3. And Forte bottled up, able to maybe gain a pair. Well, coming up tonight at 11, head on over to America's new 24-hour sports network, Fox Sports 1. Jay and Dan on FS Live. Have all the highlights for you. FS Live tonight, 11 Eastern on America's new 24-hour sports network, Fox Sports 1.
Well, that touchdown by Cordero Patterson may be the one you see on Fox Sports 1.
Low snap again for McCown, who just has to fire on the run, being chased by Big Everson Griffin, and now all of a sudden it is 3rd down and 8 for Chicago.
Yeah, and the damage by these teams, it seems like it has to be on 1st and 2nd down, because collectively they're 0 for on 3rd down. Most of the damage they're doing is on 1st and 2nd down.
Bears are 0 for 4 thus far, as we mentioned. Trying to convert on 3rd down. That penalty earlier killed him. On the push-off call against Martellus Bennett in the red zone. That's Jeffrey, and they'll convert 3rd down here. Up to the 42-yard line on the reception by Alshon Jeffrey.
They just clear it out, and then bring Alshon Jeffrey underneath. They've had a lot of success with these little underneath routes, letting their playmakers, Brandon Marshall and Alshon Jeffrey, catch the ball and go.
And you saw at the end of that play, Martellus Bennett got rolled up on, and he's down on the field.
It's good to see Martellus Bennett up and moving around. He's a big part of what the Bears have been able to do this year in conjunction with Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall.
Bennett has been an outstanding pickup, signed as a free agent after 1 year with the Giants. So they convert on third down for the first time today. 1st and 10 from the 41, and McCown slings it out to Forte, who just lowers his shoulder and plows forward for a gain of 6. And Bennett right back in there. It's great to see.
Well, in years past, they haven't had that kind of trifecta with receivers on the outside, a tight end like Martellus Bennett, and, you know, obviously to go with Matt Forte out of the backfield. So they've got all the weapons to be effective down the field. Building the box.
Once more, the quick hit to Jeffrey, and he's down to the 42-yard line. That is already Jeffrey's 5th reception of the game.
Yeah, they bring the safety down. That gives him one-on-one coverage on the backside. Anytime McCown sees that kind of hole, he's going to raise up and hit it on the backside, looking for that one-on-one matchup.
5 catches, 57 yards for Alshon Jeffrey.
Hurry!
Bush for the first time in the game breaks a tackle, and he's chopped down in the 28-yard line. That'll be a gain of 14 on the first carry of the game for Michael Bush.
Nice job by that rookie right side. You're going to see Kyle Long and Jordan Mills get out in front of this. Again, hit him between the tackles, then get outside. We saw the Minnesota Vikings do it with Adrian Peterson. Now the Bears taking the page out of that playbook.
7th play of the drive. Bush out, Forte back in on the 1st and 10 from the 27. Brandon Marshall, did he ever have the football? No. Incomplete pass.
And that was one of those smoke routes we see. That was supposed to be a run, but because of the amount of people they're dropping into the box, anytime these quarterbacks see the kind of one-on-one matchup on the backside, they'll raise up and just throw it to him. He's the only guy that knows they're doing it, and everybody else is reacting to the run.
4:13 to play until halftime. Chicago trails 7-3 on a 2nd down and 10. McCown looking around, and down he goes. Sacked for the first time in the game, and Chad Greenway got it.
Greenway's right here. He just stays alive long enough, starts inside, no, kind of gets folded to the outside as McCown goes outside. Not the most fleet of foot athlete on the field.
So now the Bears facing a 3rd down and 14. They are 0 for their last 21. Trying to convert on 3rd down and 10 or more. Bennett will not get enough for a 1st down, tackle at the 22. So out comes Robbie Gould, and I'm not going to call it red zone because they were never officially in the red zone. But what do you call it, the high red zone?
Yeah, and people are wondering, gee, as good as Josh McCown's playing, maybe you stay with him instead of Jay Cutler. Well, no, you don't, just because of what you're talking about. Jay Cutler has that unique ability, that huge arm. McCown's been very, very good, but he doesn't have that eye-popping throwing ability in key situations to get the ball down the field.
40-yard field goal try out of the hold of Podlodge. And this guy's something. That makes it a 7-6 game. Minnesota in front. Vikings have all 3 timeouts remaining and 2:47 left to play in the opening half. Well, certainly our thoughts and prayers go to the family of Jerry Seaman, who passed away on November the 24th. Of course, an NFL official. From 1975 to 1990, was the NFL senior director of officiating for longer than a decade. 15 playoff games, 2 Super Bowls. A good man. Our thoughts and prayers with his family and friends.
Of course, Jerry lived here in Minnesota. We saw a lot of them when I was with the Vikings when they would come down and work training camps. And Jerry's a good man. Always had an encouraging word no matter how things were going for you, good or bad.
So we'll see if they continue a pattern from what we've seen already 3 times today, where they are not going to kick the ball to Cordero Patterson.
I understand doing that, but they've been giving the ball up now at the 35 and 40-yard line. You might try a little deeper down the angle.
Well, they're going to boot it away this time. And that's the way you avoid it.
Absolutely. If you can do that, the rest is moot. Just put it out of the back of the end zone and you're fine. Well, American Idol is looking for the next superstar. Join Jennifer Lopez, Keith Urban, Harry Connick Jr., along with Ryan Seacrest as they search for the best new talent. American Idol's most exciting season yet. This begins Wednesday, January 15th on Fox.
And only apropos that you would handle that promo, because you were saying last night in our meeting that you are a die-hard fan.
I tell you what, you get wrapped up in these young kids as they get this opportunity. I enjoy it. I'll admit it. Okay, I'm coming out. I like American Idol.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. First down, they give it to Adrian Peterson. Well, let's check in along the sideline with Laura Oakman.
Defensive coordinator Mel Tucker, you guys, used to call plays from up in the booth. He's down in the field now, has been the last few games. He told me it was to get the calls in quicker, and he wants to read body language. I don't know if he read anyone's body language at his defense, but they read his that entire last series. As you can see, he was in their face. I can't tell you most of what he said, 98% of it, but I'll tell you 4 words. He said often and loudly: tackle, takeaway, no more.
Well, the Vikings went 90 yards on their last drive, and it only took them 5 plays to do it. 4 times they ran the ball, and they run it here, as Peterson appears to have enough for a first down on a play that will take us to the 2-minute warning. 7-6. The Bears trail Minnesota. 2 minutes to go until halftime. Minnesota has a lead. Minnesota has the ball, and the Vikings have all 3 timeouts. First down from the 30. They fake it to Peterson, and we're going to go to Jennings, but of course getting in the way was Shane McClellan. Take a look at this. Bobby Gold letting Patterson know, I'm not kicking the ball to you.
I got you on this one. Kick it short, now go deep.
Laura Oakman.
It's kind of been a big morning for Robbie Gold. He had a baby this morning, him and his wife, their first baby, at 1:40 a.m. in Chicago, caught a flight, got here at 7:30. He said, I held the baby boy in my arms for 5 minutes and then got out of there. Not just clutch on the field. That was pretty good. He was in for the delivery and got out.
Well, congratulations to the entire Gold family, both sides of the family. For that birth of your first child, I don't know if there's anything in the world that is a more impactful moment of your life than that. Congratulations.
Julius Peppers is having a good first half. He's been under a little bit of criticism, has played better of late. Early in the season, people were questioning wasn't having quite the same impact. Obviously, with the injuries to the Chicago Bears, he's had to step his game up because no Milton, no DJ Williams, no Lance Briggs. They need their superstar to have a big impact, and so far it has.
A minute 20 to go. It's a 3rd down and 8. What a catch. But far short of the first down is Jennings. And Ponder down on hands and knees. He hit the deck. He's already been sacked 3 times in the game and hit a lot more than that.
Well, again, they're bringing 5, 6, 7-man pressure. Nothing illegal about that. Just kind of got squeezed in the vice at the last minute as they collapsed on him. Looks like he's okay.
Bears spend a timeout, so Chicago has 1 left. Minnesota getting ready to punt the football with 1:12 to play until halftime.
Very conservative play calling by the Vikings in that situation, understandably, given the history of what you've had. But now this is the downside. You don't generate a first down, you're going to have to punt the ball and give it back to the Bears in and around a minute with the timeout left.
Again, Devin Hester He is one return for a touchdown away from breaking the NFL's all-time record. He's tied with Deion Sanders for most career return touchdowns in league history. Now this one, he'll let bounce after signaling for a fair catch. Look out! Did that ball hit a bear? Picked up by a bear. And tackled at the 23-yard line. There's Derek Martin. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee, meanwhile, and what's coming up on the Visa halftime.
Coming up on the Visa halftime report, we'll have highlights from all the big games in the NFL, including... Guys, what's going on in the control room?
Camera 1, take 1. Yeah. Camera 2, take 2. No, make it 3, make it 3. What camera's his good side? He don't have a good side. Camera 4. Camera.
We'll have the highlights, the Visa halftime.
First down for Chicago, starting from their own 24-yard line. Bears have one timeout left. And McCown throws a bullet into the arms of Jeffrey, and he's out to the 47-yard line. Taking a look at Ponder. And a concussion protocol instilled by the NFL. Gain of 23 on first down. Remember, the Bears have one timeout left. Jeffrey with 80 receiving yards in the first half. Catch by Bennett. I believe that is a signal by the official, and no, now saying incomplete pass. That'll stop the clock, 30 seconds left.
And of course, there are no challenges inside of 2 minutes. It has to come from above. And I don't know, that looked close enough. They're still looking at Ponder here, trying to decide and make sure that he's okay. They may do a little bit more in the locker room.
Good bang. Good bang. Good bang. Hurry, hurry.
And a funny look to it coming out of McCown's hand, but once again, it is Jeffrey. That is already his 7th catch, and he's knocking on the door of 90 receiving yards.
Again, the pressure just kind of collapsed around Ponder. Hard to see where the hit actually came from, unless as he went to the turf. Clearly,
well, it looked like he took the first hit from his left, and then that forced the head into the defender on the far side.
Ruling on the field as the ball was caught for a first down. That ruling is under review.
This was an excellent catch by Alshon Jeffrey. Ponder going in early. Again, they'll go through the normal protocol that they run through the locker room. Leslie Frazier right now a little more worried about this Chicago Bear team that's driving.
I think they want to review the spot of the ball. You know, did he catch it? They're going to take a look at that. If he did catch it, where was he touched? Because he had to make the diving catch to get it if he caught it at all.
He comes back to catch the ball. I don't think there's any question he caught the ball and had possession, but it looks like he caught it, and the yellow line is not official, but it's pretty darn close. It looks like right here he has the he does not have the first down. He clearly has possession, both feet in control. The ball never moved. I think it's the spotting of the ball, like you said, Tom, that they're questioning. Was it indeed a first down?
So the 43-yard line is where Jeffrey had to get for a first down. Now, are they saying forward progress from where he made the reception, or where he was actually thrown out of bounds? They're two different things here.
Right. They'll give him the forward progress right here. First touches it, so now we have to decide, did he have control of it? Clearly on this side of the first down, I'm going to assume that our yellow line is close to official, although it's not. And as he comes into possession here, yeah, clearly on the other side. And this chain marker here is not the actual box. That's on the opposite side of the field. So that, too, is an estimate. A good estimate, but an estimate.
May I ask you a question, Mr. Billick? And I know you've never been on the rules committee, or at least I don't think so anyway.
Nope.
I think for the regular fan at home, when you watch a play like that and a guy makes a catch, Okay, but he's still on his feet. He's still in the field of play, and then is thrown out of bounds. Why are they giving that forward progress, if you will, for lack of a better term?
Because you could ostensibly take a guy, tackle him, pick him up, and carry him back 30 yards.
No, that part I understand, but that wasn't the kind of play which that was. His momentum brought him back towards the sideline.
But that can work against you as well, because if you do that, even if you get out of bounds, the clock normally would not stop. Because if your forward progress, it works both ways. We'll give you the forward progress, but we're not going to give you forward progress, get knocked back out of bounds or come back at an angle. That catches a lot of teams because you think, oh, great, I'm out of bounds.
After review, the ball was caught. It was short of the line to gain by a yard. It will be placed at the 44-yard line where it will be 3rd and 1. The forward progress spot was in the field of play, so the clock will be wound with a 10-second runoff unless Minnesota chooses to use a timeout. Chicago chooses to use a timeout.
So it'll take the clock from 25 down to 15 with a 10-second runoff. It'll be 3rd down and a yard from just inside the 45-yard line of Minnesota. And I think that Mark Trestman wants to maybe know a couple of things. A, is he going to spend a timeout to prevent the runoff?
They're sorting that out right now for Mark Trestman as to whether he wants to deal with this runoff or use one of his timeouts.
And this is a situation where even head coaches can get confused. They want to know exactly what the official said, because Mark Trestman's over there wearing headsets. He may not have heard what the official just announced over the PA.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts here. The biggest decision for him is what's of more value, the time or the timeout. They need to convert on their 3rd down. There's still a long way to go, although this guy's got a pretty good leg.
Well, Robbie Gould currently is tied with, ironically, Minnesota kicker Blair Walsh. He has made 12 consecutive field goals of 50 yards or longer. So the Bears did use their final timeout, preserving the 10 seconds. 3rd down and a yard, and a quick throw batted down at the line of scrimmage. It's a smart play there by Robinson, understanding the situation.
Yeah, at that point you figure you know the ball's going to come out of their hands quickly.
Well, let's see, are they going to have Podlesh come out? Yeah, they're going to punt it. Are you surprised they're not going for it here?
Well,
even 22 seconds left, and I know Minnesota has 3 timeouts.
Yeah, I think that's the key. With that many timeouts, you're now giving them an opportunity to maybe get into field goal position with 3 timeouts by Minnesota.
Sherrill's going to let it bounce. Beautifully done by Podlesh, and that'll check up to the 15. "12 seconds remain until halftime. Christian Ponder has already gone back into the Minnesota locker room following that blow to the head on the last play offensively for the Vikings. So Matt Castle, who started 2 games back in late September, early October, has played in 2 others. And now, because of an injury to Christian Ponder, the quarterback carousel will continue to run here in Minnesota.
And I can't imagine them doing much here with 12 seconds, even with the 3 timeouts. Feel good about being up by 1 heading to the locker room.
He's handed off to Gerhardt. And he's out across the 20, and that will be the final play of this opening half. So neither team able to really crank it up offensively. Minnesota will go to the locker room leading 7-6. The NFL on Fox will continue with a Visa halftime report right after this. We invite you to follow your favorite NFL team all season long. Just go to iTunes.com/NFL. Bears will get the football to begin the second half. All right, Brian, put your coaching hat on. It's time for some halftime adjustments.
Well, Chicago's got to run the ball more. They've only run it 11 times compared to 24 passes. And now Minnesota, they're getting the boxes that say, okay, take your shots outside, particularly on first and second down. And both these teams need to extend a drive. Right now, collectively, they're 1 of 12 on third down.
Julius Peppers with a big first half, had a couple of sacks, a couple of tackles for loss. They've only given up the one drive, the scoring drive that went 90 yards, capped off by the touchdown by Cordero Patterson. Brian, I ask you, from what you're seeing so far, does this look like a Chicago team that is trying to move into a tie for